What comes to your mind when we say leadership in the testing?
It's interesting that you use that word, because I've been so lucky, privileged, blessed, honored to work with so many people along the way. But the word that typically came up back then was, oh, there's an expert, right? And I don't really care for the term expert, especially in our space where it seems like there's always more and different things to learn. So what is an expert?
Yeah.
I think, okay, so an expert might be somebody who has experience. That doesn't mean they have all the answers. Not the guru that has all the answers, just someone who's got enough experience to maybe have an informed opinion.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not leadership.
Yeah.
And so some of the people that I got to work with and meet when I worked at Rational.
Yeah.
So Scott Barber, James and John Bach came in and tried to help us. By the way, we were unhelpable. Like we were very resistant to improving. James Whitaker came in to give his whole spiel about how to break and using attacks. And I was like, go attacks. This is what I do. This is my life. Like, this is the kind of tester I am. And they're like, oh, we don't need that. I'm like, what is going on? Kem Kainer came in to make our functional testing class better with his bug advocacy work and things like that. So I was exposed to so many people, Elizabeth Hendrickson, and I just wanted to soak up all the knowledge that I could. But I don't know that at the time I was aware that they were a leader in the industry, leading their charge or, right, whatever their passion was. Later on, Whitaker came out with his book, and later on, James and John were running the rapid software testing class, which I got to take like the beta version of.
Yeah.
But for me at the time, it was all skill building, right? I was getting exposure to things.
Yeah.
I think the first time I got a real sense of what leadership looks like is when I was co-teaching some workshops with Elizabeth Hendrickson.
Nice. Wow.
Because she really embodies this notion of how would you deal with a situation and how might it look if you did this versus if you did that.
Yeah.
So we'd be doing a workshop, and I remember I still have the cards that she wrote, right, by hand, and one of them said, "Speak truth," and I went, "Yeah, speak truth. You should do that. What does that mean? Right? Like, how's that going to work?" And it was just the conversations and role plays. Like, that was one of the big things in one of these workshops that we did, was a role play with a stakeholder, right? Somebody really participating that way and challenging the tester, test lead, test manager person. And I got my first look at why certain things worked and why certain things didn't, and all the ways that I probably didn't do it so well in my own situations. And it helped me deeply reflect. I still reflect on some of my early experience in the mid-90s, where I had my first job, no training, no coaching, no mentoring. This poor guy hired me, and then he had so much work to do, I never saw him again. We had no requirements, we had no project management. It was a bizarre situation.
Okay.
I had no idea what testing was, but I was QA.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, it must be my job
Yeah.
to determine what quality is and kind of get pushy about it.
Uh-huh.
And I was very pushy about it. Well, I just thought that was the job. I thought I learned in school, this is what quality assurance is. Somebody defines, let's call it the quality bar, right? What is acceptable, and y'all go build it.
Yeah.
Thank you, right? And then somebody checks it, like a quality control, or So we inspect, and we're like, no, not that. Try again. I mean, this is what I understood from school, but that's not what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the skills to influence. I had this brute force to be pushy. I used to call myself a pit bull. But you know the feeling, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, you know, it's like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you want to fix things? Why don't you care about quality? Like, didn't really have the whole project picture in view.
Yeah.
And then I go experience these workshops and I went, oh, that's what was going on.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't work. That's why everybody hated my guts. You know, it's like, well, it just, right, that seems kind of annoying. Somebody comes in and says, well, you should do this. Well, this is wrong. That's not leadership.
Yeah.
That's not what it looks like.
Okay.
And I think at the beginning, I love the fact that you're drilling into this topic.
Yeah.
Because at first it was a real intangible for me.
Yeah.
What does leadership in testing look like?
Yeah.